Olafur Eliasson is an artist most well known for his installation art that responds to nature and science in a way that requires the viewer to, in a sense, become part of the art itself. He was born in Copenhagen, Denmark on February 5, 1967. He spent a great portion of his childhood moving back and forth between Denmark and Iceland after his parents separated and his father moved back to his native country. Since his father was also an artist and he wasn't around much, when Olafur was staying with him in Iceland, he began to find his artistic inspiration by attempting to impress him with his skill. According to theartstory.org, by the time he was 14, he could draw every bone in the human body, and by 15, he had his first art show. In 1989, Eliasson began attending the Royal Danish Academy of Fine Art. Here he studied for 6 years until 1995. Initially wanting to attend in an attempt to escape the world, he came to understand that art is truly a form of connecting rather than disconnecting. Eliasson had an elaborate and extensive list of works he has created. The very first, a collaborative effort with architect Einar Thorstenstein, was titled 890054. This piece is still located near the entrance to Arken Museum for Modern Art in Denmark. It is a set of differently sized, dome-shaped structures made of hexagonally shaped steel. On the Arken website, it states that it is a piece of enlarged nature. At the same time, there is something functional about it. The sculpture is also perfect for play. Another early piece of Eliasson's is titled Ventilator. He created and installed this piece in 1997 at the Modern Museum of Art in New York. It is constructed of cord holding a fan hanging from the ceiling. The fan swings around the room in response to the natural flow of air. The idea of this work was to call attention to what cannot be seen around us. The main themes of Eliasson's work include nature, science, and how humans interact with them, as well as the world around and each other. On olafureliasson.net, in his biography, it states that his art is driven by his interests in perception, movement, embodied experience, and feelings of self. He strives to make the concerns of art relevant to society at large. Eliasson was determined to combine his appreciation for nature and create a product for the general public. To do so, he joined forces with premium luggage brand Rimowa on a special collection of 46 nature-inspired luggage stickers. This not only gets his ideas about nature out into the public, it also benefits his Little Sun Foundation. All money raised will be donated there to help the world by delivering solar energy. There are many other things that Eliasson's art responds to. In an effort to discuss conservation, water use, and the link between the natural and man-made, Eliasson created Riverbed in 2014 at the Louisiana Museum of Modern Art. It is constructed of water, rocks from Iceland, wood, steel, plastic, as well as electrical pumps and cooling units. Eliasson stated about Riverbed, "I wanted it to look almost like a rock garden, but also to have a sense of mudslide, brutal, death-like." Another big world issue for Olafur Eliasson is climate change. He has created many pieces that speak deeply of his concern for the planet, and the Weather Project is no different. Created in 2003 for Turbine Hall at Tate Modern in London, Eliasson turned the room into a giant representation of our sun. Using lights, different types of foils, scaffolding, and haze machines, he was able to bring attention to this world issue. Ice Watch is an installation piece that has been done 3 times at different locations using blocks of ice from the Greenland ice sheet in response to changing of the Earth's climate. Eliasson created this concept with geologist Minik Rossing. According to Olafur Eliasson's website, this work raises awareness of climate change by providing a direct and tangible experience of the reality of melting Arctic ice. He also believes that the ever-changing climate of the planet and the human race itself are tied together in a way that most people cannot conceive, and this work brings that idea to life. The first Ice Watch was installed in October 2014 in the Copenhagen City Hall Square. It was soon followed in December of 2015 in Paris, France, at the Pantheon during the UN's climate conference. 3 years later, in December of 2018, Eliasson installed this piece once again, this time in London, England. It was placed in 2 locations, outside both Bloomberg's European headquarters and the Tate Modern. Prior to the last installation, Eliasson is quoted as saying, "By enabling people to experience and actually touch the blocks of ice in this project, I hope we will connect people to their surroundings in a deeper way and inspire radical change." There was a bit of controversy surrounding these installations. Some believed that the amount of energy and carbon fuels used to gather the ice pieces was contributing to climate change even faster than the melting of the glaciers themselves. However, in 2018, Tate Modern stated in an article, Olafur Eliasson and Minig Rossing Ice Watch, the estimated energy cost for bringing one of these blocks to London is equal to one person flying from London to the Arctic and back to witness the ice melting. The cost and use of fuels in this case allows for many more people to experience the melting of the ice and be confronted with the reality of climate change. In Olafur Eliasson's love for the natural world, inspired by the waterfalls of his childhood in Iceland, he created a project titled The New York City Waterfalls in 2008. This piece consisted of 4 separate waterfalls and was intended to have people who live the busy urban life stop and notice their surroundings and their relationship to it. The 4 locations of the falls were beneath the Brooklyn Bridge on the north shore of Governor's Island, on the Brooklyn Piers between Piers 4 and 5, and in Lower Manhattan at Pier 35. Each of these structures was between 90 and 120 feet tall, depending on the surroundings at each particular location. The waterfalls were created from a variety of materials. Aluminum scaffolding was the main structure, which sat in a concrete base that was deep in the sediments in the bottom of the water. There, plastic sheeting was installed to protect the land from the concrete. To get the water to the top of the structure, 18-inch PVC pipes were used, pulling approximately 7,000 gallons of water per minute through the pumps. Another pipe took the water to the top of the falls structure. In an effort to make the falls look as realistic as possible, Eliasson decided to aerate the water at the top of the falls. To do so, a platform was created out of a studded piece of sheet metal. The more studded, the more froth that could be created. Each fall has 2 of these platforms, creating a choppy and realistic flow of water from the artificial falls. Eliasson did not want to disrupt the East River, so he installed a solid bottom pool 12 feet underneath where the falls drop. There were also measures taken to not harm the animals and boaters of the area. This piece of installation art also received much controversy as a result of the saltwater spray from the falls. It damaged the local plants, trees, cars, and buildings, as well as got patrons of local restaurants wet and covered in a salty film. According to the New York Times article from October 2008 titled Waterfalls Exit, but with Unintended Impact, the Brooklyn Heights Association sent soil samples to the Cornell Nutrient Analysis Laboratory at Cornell University. The results of some samples taken showed high levels of salt in the soil. The Listening Dimension is a 5-piece art installation Olafur Eliasson created in response to optics and vision in art. It was on display in 2017 at the Tanya Bondaker Gallery in New York. The first piece, titled Rainbow Bridge, consists of 12 separate glass spheres sitting on black steel frames at an average eye level. The spheres are colored to match the color spectrum. As the viewer walks by, the spheres appear to change from clear to black to color one at a time. This is achieved through the way the spheres are painted, with slices of color, silver, and black paints. The second piece in this installation is Color Experiment number 78 and was created with 72 canvas-painted circles in hues that represent the entire range of color visible to the human eye. In the middle of the room is a white light bulb which viewers are encouraged to turn on and off. With the light on, all of the colors on the discs can be seen. However, when the light is turned off, they appear to go from gray to yellow. Following these 2 colorful works on the spectrum of color, The Listening Dimension, an optical illusion created from a brass ring and mirrors. By affixing a half ring to the mirror, the illusion that the ring is floating in space is created. According to Olafur Eliasson's website, the idea behind this piece is to allow the viewer to perceive space and experience depth in a subtly destabilizing and uncanny way. Midnight Sun is the 4th piece in this installation, which is simply a convex mirror which is lit up from behind with a yellow tinted light bulb placed on a white wall. The distortion of the reflection from the convex mirror creates a different perception, while the light behind illuminates the mirror in a way that brings a heightened awareness to the surroundings of the viewer. The final and most amazing of the 5 pieces is Space Resonates Regardless of Our Presence. By utilizing an old optical trick originally used to send stray light beams in a single direction on the top of lighthouses, Eliasson, according to his website, put it to use to exploit the potential of using light as a malleable material. Light projects 3 different images onto a nearby wall through a single light source using a Fresnel lens, which creates a prism effect within the images. In the vast catalog of Olafur Eliasson's work, there are repetitive themes that appear throughout. These interdisciplinary subjects, including geology, weather, and nature, and how the human race interacts within them. Although science is a main theme seen throughout much of his work, in Anthony King's 2017 interview with Eliasson, Olafur stated, "I look for inspiration from science, but I do not translate scientific ideas or theories into his artworks. I rather begin from a feeling or intuition and develop the work pragmatically through the process of working on it." There are many things that drew me to Olafur Eliasson and his artwork. Installation art intrigued me because it is usually large in scale and interactive. He emphasizes calling attention to world issues, science, and nature. Works such as Mediated Motion, a 4-level indoor landscape, brought nature to life indoors. The mirrors and tinted glass of Eliasson's kaleidoscope pieces are not only beautiful, they combine geometry and art. His installation, Your Rainbow Panorama, built on top of the Aarhus Art Museum in Denmark, is a 360-degree walkway with a circumference of 150 meters. It is comprised of sections of glass in the colors of the rainbow. This bright, large, and risky piece has served as an important focal point for the city. For me, being a risk taker is another reason Olafur Eliasson has become such an amazing artist. Today, Olafur Eliasson still works as an artist in his private studio, which he founded in 1995, located in Berlin. Here he works with a team to design and develop all types of installations, art pieces. He is also the founder of the Little Sun Foundation. According to the website, the Little Sun Foundation was created to deliver solar energy to the most vulnerable communities worldwide. The light, which is a yellow-shaped sun powered by solar energy, attached to a lanyard that can be worn around the neck, has been distributed to those people who live in refugee camps as well as students who cannot study when it's dark. The Little Sun Foundation is responsible for improving the safety, education, and health of those it has impacted. Some of Olafur Eliasson's other recent works include a 90-meter foggy tunnel, forcing visitors to use their other senses to make it through, called Your Blind Passenger, in 2010. This piece was in response to the utopian potential inherent in an individual's relation to the surrounding world, according to a December 2010 article on Design Boom. In 2018, he installed Northwest Passage on the ceiling of a hallway at MIT's List Visual Arts Center to show the effects of climate change and the melting of the ice in the Northwest Passage. Coming up in June of 2019, Eliasson's newest exhibit, In Real Life, will open at Tate Modern in London, England. It will feature more than 30 of his works, many of which have not been seen at the Tate before now. Some of the pieces expected to be seen are Your Spiral View, Beauty, and Big Bang Fountain. By bringing together so much of his art to a single place, one can truly grasp the deep connection Olafur Eliasson has to nature, the environment, the science of perception and movement, and the interactions of people within the world, and how he strives to engage the viewer and make them think about their reality. Olafur Eliasson continues to play an important role in the world. Within the art community, he continues to push boundaries and take risks in a way that not a lot of artists are willing to do. He is also very active in his causes and uses his abilities and ideas to convey important messages to society about the environment and the people's reactions within it.